hello.
Hi.
I remember meeting Michael 15 years ago or so, and I didn't really know what a man crush was until I saw this strikingly handsome fellow with this amazing Kenny Rogers thing going on, and this earring and these like fashion sunglasses, and I'm like, man, I feel cool just being around this guy. It was just fun, and then I got to talk to him, and he just had this gentle, articulate voice that always had a right word to say, and was always serving someone else by the things that he said. And he was lifting up somebody else, edifying someone else, letting me know who else needs to be prayed for. And it was just so special to be around him because he was such a strong man, but he didn't flaunt any of that strength. But it was just this quiet confidence that allowed me and many of you to see God right in him. And the way he lived his life, and the look in his eyes, and just the beauty of a man that Michael was. Michael and I spent time, we'd hang and see each other at different functions and different events and different things, but then in the last few months, be down there once a week, just connecting with him, hanging with him, shooting the breeze, talking shop, talking about fishing, motorcycles, racing, the Marines, showing me pictures, drawing pictures. We would talk about good food and eating good food and food that we want to eat next, and talk about our families, just loving family, the beautiful gift that God's given us in our families, and the beauty of Jesus. And it's like his eyes, he just kind of had that squinty thing going on, you know, and but it was just like the more you talked about Jesus, the squint just kind of got like, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, dude, are you even looking at me? You know, and he's just I'm good. And it was just so nice to see someone who had such a depth. And I was just one of the many people privileged enough to know some of that depth and to share in the life of this man. One time I was there about a month ago, and we just started singing hymns. And one time my kids asked me, Dad, what's a hymn? And I think God gave me this answer in just that moment. I said, well, you know what? Hymns are songs about him. And I told my kids, I said, you know what? I have found that it's impossible to pray a boring prayer after singing a hymn. Okay. Then my son picked his nose and went and made a mess, and apparently that was good enough for him. So Michael and I would spend some time picking our noses, making messes, and singing hymns. And I fit right in at the hospital. We're both prone to mischief, and we both just like causing trouble and messing with people just simply because we can. And so we always just kind of had this little one eye going out for each other, and that was fun. Michael couldn't believe that I had never been fishing or motorcycle riding, and he was about to cut off the relationship in that moment. He told me, you are hanging out in the right place, but with the wrong people. So I left. No. I asked him if he would, I said, so, you know, tell me, would you, like, when you go under tunnels, I mean, would you, like, rev it up, you know, and like a big overgrown boy? And he said, sure did. They made him that way for a reason. He said, loud pipes save lives. That's good, that's good. I asked Michael, this was within this last month, I said, so let's talk about your memorial service. I said, whether it's in 10 years or 5 years or next week, I said, what would you like to let everyone know that's there? And he got all squinty, leaned back, Nah, I got here before you did. Then he came to and he said, I want them to know that I really have peace and that I got here first. And he said, tell them to just relax because God will take care of it. A lot of us know that Michael was a TV media director with cameras in the Army, but the Marines, that's where he fought his battles. And that's where he learned a lot about life. Linda, I took advantage of your absence one of the times that I was visiting him. I said, so tell me what you particularly love about Linda. Well, I ran out of ink in my pen, so I just had to get the recorder going. And he said, Linda is so giving. She would give her last dime to help somebody out. And he said, this might not make sense, but she's always new. Which may not seem like much to some people, but to me it is very special. People take Linda at her word, and they believe it. And he said, kind of like what you'd expect from God, right? He said, I thought that when Linda had cancer that it would just destroy her, but no. That's Linda. I asked Michael, I said, what are you looking forward to about meeting Jesus face to face? Oh, I've got a few questions for him. About money and gain and why so many of those things matter so much to so many people. You know as well as I do that Michael was in tune with the things that really matter. Michael asked me, you know what killed Jesus? Love killed him. He said, we deserve nothing, yet Jesus gave everything. I just can't understand how people don't get it. I'm glad I get it. So about motorcycles, Michael would agree that loud pipes save lives. Regarding life, Michael demonstrated to all of us and countless others that what gives life is serving one another and speaking the truth in love. He said, in fact, if someone tried to argue with me right now, I'd probably look right at them and just walk away. Come back later after you read a happy book. That's just the calm, cool, wise man that Michael had become. My friend. Michael Mishler lived his life out loud. He has inspired and empowered many people with his encouraging words. He may not be able to sing like Kenny Rogers, but Michael's pipes often spoke with godly wisdom, shameless authority, and generous love. Michael Mishler proved that you don't need to be loud to be effective. When someone lives like Michael lived, it gives Jesus the opportunity to shine through a human being to a world who desperately needs the love that Jesus gives and the hope that he offers. Thank you, Michael, for living life out loud. Thank you for cherishing Linda and for valuing family so much. Thank you, Michael, for not just loving fishing, but for being a fisher of men. Thank you, Michael, for not only your faithful service to our country, but for the faithful life that you lived before God and men. Until we meet again, you will be missed by us all. We love you. God, we thank you for the gift of Michael. And we pray that you would allow us to reproduce the character traits that allowed us to see Jesus in him. At this point in time, we have a couple of people who are going to be sharing some thoughts that they've prepared. So David, I'm going to invite you to come on up here.